Every weapon you've ever seen, every sword, every spear, every bow, every gun, can trace its history back to one forgotten moment, a moment before kingdoms, before metal, before farming, before people even had names. Someone, somewhere, picked up something for the very first time and changed human history forever. But here's the strange part. The first weapon was probably not what you're imagining. It wasn't a spear. It wasn't an axe. It wasn't even made by humans. So, what was the very first weapon? To answer that, we have to travel back millions of years, long before civilization, to a world where surviving one more day was already a miracle. Imagine waking up, no house, no clothes, no fire, no language, no tribe to protect you. You're surrounded by giant cats, hyenas, snakes, and creatures much stronger than you. You can't run the fastest. You don't have claws. Your teeth can't tear through thick skin. Even your muscles are weak compared to almost every predator around you. If a lion sees you, you're food. Not metaphorically, literally. For most of early human history, humans weren't just hunters. They were prey, regularly. Fossil evidence shows ancient human skulls with puncture marks matching the exact spacing of leopard fangs, bite marks from giant hyenas, talon marks from birds large enough to carry off a child. We weren't at the top of the food chain. We were somewhere in the middle of the menu. So here's the question. How could such a fragile human eventually become the most dangerous creature on Earth? Something had to change. And whatever changed would become the first step toward every weapon ever invented. Most people immediately picture a spear. It makes sense. It's simple, it's deadly, and early humans definitely used them. But there's one problem. To build a spear, you first need another tool. You have to shape the wood, sharpen the tip, sometimes even attach stone to it. That means the spear cannot be the first weapon. Others imagine axes. Same problem. Axes require even more technology. So if those came later, what existed before them? Here's where it gets strange. Because we don't have to guess completely in the dark. There's a living clue. In Senegal, scientists once watched wild chimpanzees do something no one expected. They broke branches off trees, bit the ends with their teeth, sharpened them into points, then jabbed them into tree holes, hunting small animals hiding inside. 22 times, researchers documented it happening. Chimpanzees making spears on their own. No teacher, no blueprint. If even animals can figure this out on their own, imagine what early humans with far greater intelligence were capable of. This single discovery changed how scientists think about the first weapon, because it means the idea didn't require a genius. It only required hands and a reason to survive. Now go back further, much further. In Kenya, near a lake called Turkana, archaeologists found something remarkable. Sharpened stones, deliberately struck, deliberately shaped, dated to roughly 3.3 million years ago. Some of the oldest deliberately made tools ever found anywhere on Earth. Scientists call the site Lomekwi, and it pushed back the known history of toolmaking far earlier than anyone expected, because it proved something incredible. The instinct to pick up an object and shape it into a tool goes back almost unimaginably far. Long before metal, long before farming, long before written history began. But here's the frustrating part. Stone survives for millions of years. Wood does not. Branches rot, leaves vanish. Even leather disintegrates within a few centuries, which means the very first weapon, the one actually used in self-defense, may have left almost no trace at all. Scientists are essentially solving a crime scene, where 90% of the evidence dissolved long before anyone arrived to study it. So when archaeologists hold a 3-million-year-old stone tool, they're not holding the beginning. They're holding the only piece that survived. Now imagine the actual moment. Not a workshop, not careful crafting, just panic. You're walking through tall grass. Something moves. A predator steps forward. You don't have time to build anything. You grab whatever is closest. A rock, a heavy branch, nothing sharpened, nothing designed, just something solid enough to create distance between you and death. That single decision to grab an object and use it on purpose may be the true starting point, because from that moment forward, nature stopped being just surroundings. It became a resource, an extension of the body itself. Here's the part most people miss. The actual revolution wasn't the stick or the stone. It was what happened inside the brain holding them. Other animals rely on horns, fangs, claws, built-in weapons, fixed for life. Humans never had any of that. Instead, we armed ourselves. And once one person figured it out, it didn't disappear when they died. It spread. Someone else copied it, improved it, passed it to their children. One generation's discovery became the next generation's starting point. That single feedback loop is the real reason humans went from prey to apex predator faster than anything else in Earth's history. Not stronger bodies, inherited ideas. Now here's something most people never think about. A weapon doesn't just protect you, it changes what you're allowed to eat. Before tools, early humans survived mostly on plants, insects, and whatever scraps were left behind by real predators. Leftovers, bone marrow other animals couldn't reach. But once you can strike, once you can defend a kill instead of running from one, meat becomes possible. Real meat, regularly. And meat is not just food. It's dense, fast-burning fuel, far more efficient than the plants our bodies used to rely on. Some researchers believe this shift from scavenging to active defense and hunting is connected to one of the most important developments in human history, the human brain growing larger, rapidly, disproportionately, compared to almost every other species on Earth. A bigger brain needs more energy to run. Roughly 20% of everything you eat today is still being spent just to power the organ inside your skull. That number doesn't work on leaves and insects alone. It works on meat. Reliable, weapon-assisted, defended meat. So the first weapon may not have only kept early humans alive one more day. It may have helped fund the very organ that allowed them to keep inventing better weapons after that. A loop. Survive with a tool. Eat better because of it. Think better because of that. Build a better tool next time. Repeat that loop for 3 million years, and you don't just get spears, you get cities, satellites, and someone sitting somewhere right now watching a video about how it all began. So, what was the first weapon? Based on the oldest evidence ever discovered, the answer isn't a spear. It isn't an axe. It's a sharpened stone, found at a site called Lomekwi in Kenya, dated to roughly 3.3 million years ago. Older than metal, older than farming, older than written history itself. But the object was never really the point. Even chimpanzees proved that the basic instinct to grab something and turn it into a weapon already exists in nature, all on its own. What truly set humans apart wasn't the first tool, it was the second one. The improved version, the one passed down, copied, sharpened again. Every sword, every cannon, every weapon humanity has ever built is just another link in a chain that started with a single moment long ago. One person refusing to die without a fight. If you want to see what happened next, how that first weapon eventually led to fire, hunting, and survival through the night, subscribe. Because the story of how we got here has barely even started.